This is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield from the Lynn Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Michael provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield, and I'm Tana Pennington. And it looks like we have a beautiful slide presentation by Owen.
PowerPoint presentation. This is impressive. So, Tana hasn't been here in a couple of weeks. She's been helping her son and his wife and their brand new baby move from Utah down into Texas. So he's in their neck of the woods. He finished his finance degree. He's super important. He's studying to sit for his certified financial planner exam in a month. Mm-hmm. And in his abundance of free time, obviously not studying very hard because I gave him some data and I said, hey, can you make a PowerPoint presentation for me, Owen? Because I need something pretty to present. And he makes this incredible product. And I'm like, you went above and beyond. I said basic. I'm thinking a couple bullet points, 2 slides. I was being lazy, not doing it myself. And now I have this incredible product and I don't even know what to do with it. Do we frame it afterwards and somehow hang pictures around the hall? So in any case, thank you, Owen. Thank you for joining us, Tana. Kind of right out of the gates, a couple things, just current events. Stock market is absolutely pouty at the moment. We've gotten some really weak labor data. ADP job reports came out, 99,000 jobs created. That's the worst read since 2001. This morning, we had the larger August jobs report come out, 142,000 jobs created when they were expecting, I think, 170-ish. So everything is coming out weak. The economy is pretty light at the moment. We were talking a week or two ago about the mystery missing jobs, almost 1 million jobs missing out of our economy from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So there's some wonky economics rolling out. I think next week, Tana and I are going to do a show where we focus on, hey, the Feds are going to cut rates. Historically, what happens to markets? What should you expect from that? There's a lot going on right now. So Tana's going to help us with that. So thank you, Tana. Thank you, Owen. This is a very exciting moment. But what we wanted to touch on is some taxation of Social Security. And honestly, what prompted this is, and guess what? We're going to do a show in a few weeks on economic policies of Trump versus Harris. Oh my goodness. It's going to be apolitical. It's going to be factual. And I'm sure there will be some butthurt people when it's all said and done. It seems to happen from those conversations. And that's okay. But a few weeks ago, Trump, as one of his economic proposals, brought up the idea that they would want to remove federal taxation on Social Security. And someone called me and said, how outlandish and chaotic and confusing could such a thought be? And I thought, well, actually, that's without considering history. And so what's funny about Social Security is it was established in 1935. We're teasing 100 years ago that this bad boy was created. Mm-hmm. And how much tax did they charge originally on you collecting Social Security, Tana, when it was created?
No tax.
Yeah, goose eggs. It was created as a tax-free benefit. The government at the time called it a gratuity, and it shouldn't have income taxes on it. So this is when Congress created it, passed it. They had it separately funded through all of the FICA payroll taxes that the government currently collects. Now, obviously, some demographic things have changed, and that's what's evolved some of this conversation, right? There's a lot more people working back then. There's a lot more people paying into the Social Security program than collecting it. It's all those pesky baby boomers like Tana. Are you a baby boomer? I don't know.
No.
That was meant to be mean, and you just went with it. So
I did.
But in any case, it was originally tax-free. And so what happened is in the early 80s, the benefits the math started to kind of fall apart. It wasn't as funded as well. Congress came in, it was very bipartisan at the time, and they said we should probably start collecting some tax revenue on the Social Security. This would be, one thing that we can do. And at the time, what they did is they set a limit, and you can kind of see here right on the middle of the page, they have this $25,000 and $32,000 limit. And it basically said, hey, if you're single and you make more than 25 grand, or if you're married and you make more than 32,000, then we're going to start taxing half of your Social Security benefits. Not all of it, just half of it. This is just for federal taxes. States are unique. 27 states in the U.S. do not tax Social Security at all. So, you got some upset people, but the government's saying, hot diggity dog, we got to do something. And we're only going after higher income earner people. Now, we look at Tana, would you say that if you're making 32 grand, you feel like a high income earner at this point?
No.
Probably not, right? The problem is get in a time machine and go back 40 years, right? Things are kind of relative. 32,000 is certainly not a lot of money, but it was a lot more money 40 years
right, back then,
today,
yeah.
right? So fast forward. What year did we get to? I think it was 93. Yeah, 93, the ominous Budget Reconciliation Act. So Congress came in again and said, we need to make a second tier for those pesky super earners. So now I got someone married, filed jointly, who makes 44 grand. Now that's a lot of money, right, Tana? Now you're rolling in dough making 44,000 a year, right? You're eating at the finest restaurants, you're flying private first class, life is good. And so what they said is for those high income earners, it literally says that in the legislation, if anyone's bored enough to go read it. It says high income. If anyone is making over 44,000 married filed jointly, then 85% of their Social Security would be subject to taxation. You're like, oh, okay. So there's another tier. Now it's funny. This was a really tight horse race. Congress wasn't really excited about passing this one. And there was one person who was the deciding vote to get this passed to raise the Social Security taxation to 85%. His nickname is Man Bear Pig. Do you know who that is, Tana?
It's Al Gore.
It's Al Gore.
I don't think that was his nickname, but.
Well, Google it. It actually is. Now you got all these people Googling that.
Right.
A good moment for everybody. And so Social Security taxation has increased because of that. Now, what's confusing is, remember, get in a time machine, go back 30 years, 40 years. These were considered higher income thresholds at the time. There's one huge, giant, glaring issue with this. When this legislation was written and never touched again, those numbers were never hedged for inflation. So even though I've been sitting here kind of joking with Tana that making 32 or 44,000 is not a lot of money anymore, the problem is those are still the numbers. And so even though this law was designed to target higher income earners in retirement and let them pay a little extra tax to help out, the problem is fast forward to 2024, if you're still married, filed jointly, making that $44,000, you're still subject to paying 85%. It has never hedged for inflation. If you applied inflation, what would that number be? I don't know. At this point, $90,000, something like that.
Yeah.
So because it never hedged, what the problem that's happened is it's made lower and lower income people in retirement pay more and more mathematical tax on their retirement benefits. And that's caused a little grief. Now, what's ironic about this is that pain that you're causing those low income, fixed income individuals in retirement, we're really not even talking nationally about a lot of money. When you look at the tax revenue that is currently collected from the Social Security program specifically, so people are retired, they're doing their little ratio, they're collecting that federal tax off of these dollars, it only generates $35 billion of tax revenue. Well, geez, if we're only bringing in 50 billion a year, I guess that's incredible. The problem is we bring in $5 trillion. So 35 billion isn't exactly meaningful, is it? And so it's tough because you've got 64 million people that get checks every single month from the Social Security. A lot of these people are subject to paying taxes on it. They say that 25% of the people getting them are below the poverty line. And so you have a lot of this quirky stuff where due to inflation, due to all of this stuff, this is very problematic. And ironically, it's not even generating a lot of tax revenue net when you really look at what it's doing for the bottom line of the federal government. And so, to that point, if we kind of fast forward to probably the end of this conversation, everybody's concerned about Social Security. If everybody reads their Social Security statement, it says by like 2033, if something doesn't happen, then the government is going to have to do a 23% pay cut. Obviously, nobody wants that. We don't expect that to happen because something will change. They're talking about increasing payroll taxes. Well, guess what? If you're retired, that doesn't affect you, right? They're talking about increasing taxable thresholds on really high income earners and things like that. So they're working on some ideas to change it, but obviously, something has to happen. But to that point, you kind of see here in the last paragraph, Owen wrote this paragraph, not me. Donald Trump has expressed the intent to stop taxing Social Security. Harris has not made any policy stance on that at this point. And so anyways, it was just kind of an interesting point that came up as of lately. I wanted to give a little bit of historical context on it. I think the videos over the next couple of weeks that Tana and I are working on are going to be, pretty interesting, right? I think the relevance of rate cuts is pretty dramatic, and everybody is oddly curious about, obviously very different economic philosophies for the future of our country. I live in California, Tana lives in Texas, so we have very different opinions about how this stuff works. Tana, we just signed a new lease too.
Yes.
On an office space in Texas.
I'm super excited.
So we got satellite location. Tana can't keep working from her car in front of Starbucks for the free Wi-Fi. And so if you're in Texas, outside of Dallas in that neighborhood, and due to inflation, you can't afford a cup of coffee and you need to stop in to see Tana and Owen, we're going to have boots on the ground there formally for you to do that. We should hopefully in the next couple of weeks be updating our website with a pretty picture and the new office location and all that fun stuff. So, or if you are just sick of meeting with me in person and you want to jump on a jet out of Santa Barbara to go meet with Tana, have at it. So anyways, easy peasy, pretty straightforward. Just wanted to kind of share, this current event of sorts, and we'll be back next week. Hope everyone has a great day.